Good morning, everyone, and to our professor, Ms. Maribel M. Nas. My name is Hazel M. Recto, and I am one of the presenter in career-related juries. The two topics assigned to me are the need jury or psychodynamic jury, lifespan, life space jury. First, let's talk the psychodynamic jury. So the proponent of the career-related psychodynamic theory is Edward S. Bordin. Maybe some of you are not familiar with the work of Edward S. Bordin. So he is an American psychologist, educator, spatial personality and vocational choice research jury psychotherapy, recipient Luna Tyler Award year 1985, member American Psychological Association wherein he is the president Division Counseling Psychology 1955, American Association for the Advancement of Science, Society for Psychotherapy Research wherein he is the president in year 1979, Research Career Award year 1985. So now we're going to discuss the Borden psychodynamic model of career choice. Since this theory was first proposed, it has received little subsequent attention and has essentially become of historic interest in the field. Although his work received little attention, it became useful to counselor like counselor and other professionals in understanding the career choices of an individual. So second, Borden turned to development in early childhood to account for work motivation and focus on the development of personality. So I gave emphasis on the early childhood as one of the major factors affecting the work motivation and the development of personality. Third, his emphasis is on the development of personality in relation to the role of work and play in the individual's life. So here, he characterized the play as satisfying activity that gives individual a sense of wholeness and joy. Essentially, Borden suggested that people seek work which they find intrinsically interesting or from which they can derive pleasure. It becomes a desire for a working or non-working individual to find a career that can provide them satisfaction, especially that careers sometimes demand too much effort and time. Papasok dito ang mga considerations such as interests or preferences, talents, habits of an individual in choosing a career path. So, with a full understanding of this concept, a counselor may able to understand why mostly of a working individual change career. It could be because of this factor. Second, Borden claimed that in young children, play and work are fused. Fused because of their limited understanding that they thought play and work are just the same in context, and that through the process of development and socialization, play and work become demarcated. He accounted for this demarcation in terms of spontaneity, which used to refer to elements of self-expression and self-realization in our responses to situation. So, as a child continually grows, he or she becomes aware about proper responses on a certain condition. So here, he realizes that play and work are now totally different on its meaning and uses. However, as they mature, play becomes more complex and they become aware of the effort needed to achieve mastery as well as the external pressures of others. External pressures would be the parents as they apply the rewards and punishments approach to their children in order to gain deeper understanding about what is good and bad. At the same time, it is applied to affect how an individual distinguishes play from work, especially in a early stage. In particular, Borden claimed that overemphasis on analysis, activation of self-consciousness, and overambition may be intimately tied to failure to fuse work and play. So approaches and strategies have to be controlled and make sure that the child has the enough ability to understand why you are trying to input in their consciousness those ideas before you do some conscientization activities. So extreme efforts converts spontaneity into compulsion. Activities are performed out of a need or compulsion to do them rather than out of an intrinsic desire to do them because they are enjoyable. So in adult, this process is reflected the reality of needing to earn a living and the desire for the personal meaning and creative expression rather than just to feel enjoyment. So nag, nag lumalawak na yung kanyang priorities, and not just only for his own interest but for others also. So next, during early years, individuals build a unique identity through biological and cultural influences. Biological influences, these are the genetically acquired from their biological parents. On the other hand, the cultural influences are acquired from norms, beliefs, tradition existing in his or her social environment, or in the place where he or she resides. And these two influences set boundaries on determining the sex roles. Next one. While Bordin's jury is directed towards the participation of personality in career development and the series of choices that comprise it, he also acknowledged the interaction of a number of influences, including the economic, cultural, geographical, biological, and accidental factors, and in turn, their influence on personality. So here, he applies the importance of human in environment perspective. In terms of career choice and satisfaction, Bordin described the evolution of personality as the mechanism which guides cognitive processes at times of career choice, whether those points have arisen from external or internal reasons. In choosing a right career, an individual uses his or her critical thinking skills on which his personality affects how he makes decisions, or what we call the cognitive capacity of a person. So here we have another set of assumptions in Bordin's psychodynamic model of career choice. So external reasons include particular stages for the education system, and internal reasons include the desire for increased work satisfaction. So here, external reason is affected by the outside influences. Meanwhile, internal reasons are the desire or their personal motivation. Next, in making choices, individuals conduct a self-assessment and gauge the probabilities of success based on intrinsic satisfaction. So, in three components of personality by Sigmund Freud, a person do not immediately respond. Here, a person do not immediately respond on what they want or their desire. Instead, they carefully decide through self-assessment and calculating its possible benefits before doing or making a decision. Another, his emphasis in career counseling focuses much more on the individual striving for inner meaning. He advocated the use of guided fantasy, dreams, examining life histories, and imaginative approaches. He also advocated examining clients' feelings, an approach which still remains under-emphasized in the field. So, for Borden, choosing a right career should be done in subjective manner rather than its objectiveness. So here we're trying to understand the individual differences in choosing a career. Internal and external factors play significant roles in influencing the decision-making of a person. Thus, It is subjective since each persons are unique and we are living in a multicultural society.